This week I have got a rather exciting bit of kit. What I've managed to get my hands on is a Tactical Insulated Tarp System. This is made by a company called Brigantes, actually designed and produced by the OMM, Original Mountain Marathon team. I've managed to get hold of one. We're going to have a look at it today, look at its multi kind of uses and properties, and kind of look at some of its pros and perhaps some of its cons. I'm not being paid to make this video today, guys. I'm going to chuck that out there straight from the off. So this is a look at possibly the future of outdoor equipment. The first thing I was particularly impressed with is the size of this thing. Okay, this is a 3-litre stuff sack. I've got it out here. As you can see, it's white. So straight away, some of you may be thinking, well, that's not very tactical. But of course, this is something which is designed to be used by some of Britain's absolute tip of the spear Arctic warfare specialists. And so it actually has a white side and then a camouflage side. It's got quite an interesting cam, which I think would work well here in kind of northern forest and British woodland or British broadleaf. The first thing I've noticed, personally speaking, is the weight of this thing. Just over 700 grams in weight. It's ever so light. Right now, okay, these are still sat at a whopping 350 quid. So you'll be seeing these over the next couple of years. The price will probably come down and they will trickle out into the civilian market. So keep your eyes peeled. And as I open this out, straight away I can see it's a rather interesting camouflage on the inside here. Okay, and it has its own stuff sack, which is integral to its design, which is pretty cool because that means I can store stuff inside of here. That's always helpful. So this is incredibly light in the hand, and as you can hear, it's not overly rustly. Not the end of the world, actually. This side is waterproof here, and it's been tested with a hydrostatic head testing of 10 meters. Now you can see some interesting things happening in the corner here and the way that it's been stitched together. Okay, and that's because it is a dual use item, and the zips are those kind of good quality weatherproof zips, and it's got small toggle fixing points on the corners here for staking it down. Now the very first thing that I noticed about this, which is different to any other tarp, when we look at it we think, okay, that it's a rectangle. It's not. It is, in fact. It has a straight side. This side tapers in, it comes up here, and then it tapers in again. Okay, so it's not quite a perfect rectangle. You may also detect and notice the presence of armholes, and the zip is on the inside. Here it is. Okay, so I can unzip this, my hand can go through there, because it is also designed to be worn as a sort of overcoat or an overthrow, and that's to massively increase your thermal capability, your ability to hold heat. Anywhere where you've got to go static for any amount of time, fishing or hunting, you can pop this on, wear it like an overcoat, and it's going to really help that kind of bang for buck ratio for what calories in versus calories out. So having something like this is going to add longevity and survivability. There was a study done, okay, a little while ago, and the study was called The Soldier's Burden. It looked at the weights and shapes and sizes and capacity that a soldier would have to perform and carry over distance, and the requirements of the soldier balanced against what percentage of body weight could they carry, and at what point would they start to see a decrease in their performance. What was found from that study was 5% or less of your body weight, no significant change. There is always a trade-off point, and I always talk about these trade-off points, and I think it's important that we do. This is extremely light, guys. I'd also be carrying a sleeping bag with something like this. Now let's look a bit closer at some of the design features. One of the first things I noticed, the fact that it has zips all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and zip the whole thing up so we can take a look at its true shape. Along the back here it is much longer, and it actually tapers in, okay, and it ever so slightly tapers in here again. And that's because when you're wearing this thing, okay, with your arms out of the two armholes here, you need that little bit of clearance for your feet to be at one end and your head and your helmet or your equipment or whatever to be stuck out the other side, and you'd be able to still use a weapon system or bring it to bear when you're in that static lying up point or position. And of course it's got toggles which you can use to fix it and use it as a sort of classic pitched A-frame shelter. I've got some slight concerns about whether me just being heavy-handed, I might catch this really fine material when I'm running the zips down and get it jammed. It didn't happen to me just there, but that's not to say it can't happen to me, and I'm not finished playing with it yet. What normally tends to happen, guys, when people are making tarpaulins is they usually put the seam or the join on the midway point, which then becomes your ridgeline. The boffins here at OMM have looked at this and looked at the way the seam is rolled in and done some clever pokery jiggery to create this kind of tapered finish on both sides. There is even a small toggle on the inside here which you can use to actually retract and shorten this, so whichever end your head is going to be at one end and your feet are going to be at the other, to make it much more even there, but gives you that greater level of neck protection where your head is going to be up here. Actually really well thought through, can't knock it. Let's climb inside it and take a look and see what that looks like. So this is exactly what I feared and what I was talking about. And what I suddenly realise is that it has snagged underneath here. What's actually happened is the toggle is on the inside, but the one on the outside is missing. If I'd been pulling properly on the outside, this wouldn't have happened. But look, it's just happened straight away, straight again. But this is a slight fall down point. It's not the kit, it's the user, it's me. And if I'm going to pay an awful lot of money for an item like this, I would want it to come with a toggle either side. Yay, there is actually a toggle on this one, so that's good. You can see my arm goes through here. Here I can adjust and I can raise or lower this bit here according to whether my feet are at this end or not. You can see the ridge running down through here, and on the other side, okay, there's the same thing going on down here as well. This added expansion area in here where things can be shortened or retracted. They've even gone as far as to think about, as a sort of one size fits all, it's adjustable so that the person using it, whether they're taller or shorter, can mess about with it and bring it in for their kind of size and height. Second, work out which way up this thing's got to go on. And I would say that's going to go on like that. Close this down a touch so I can still get my arms through. Okay, that's pretty cool. I can already feel, I feel quite warm. Can't help but feel I'm wearing a very ultra lightweight summer sleeping bag of sorts. I've got that pocket on the inside here, so you can kind of turn it into a giant tube with arms. That's very cool, guys. That's the head end. So if I climb in here like this, oh yeah, roasty toasty. Because of the way it's been tapered, I can shorten this bit between my legs here. Hopefully this doesn't look absolutely ridiculous and that you can see what it is I'm trying to do. Yeah, guys, I mean, that's actually not bad at all, really. For something that I was going to then go static and not move for potentially, you know, 2 hours at a time, I'd say that's pretty good. Of course, the only way to test that is to go get the rifle out, go sit up somewhere. But for now, let's look at its other abilities, you know, to operate as a tarp. Let's see what it can do. Okay, and this is it here in its kind of role as a tarpaulin, and you can see that pitch where it tapers on both sides. Now it's only got 4 fixing points. So for me personally, I would look for that last one, and that's so that I could make that shed water that bit better. If it had a single extra fixing point here, that would be amazing. As it doesn't, you can only rely on the tension of your ridgeline. Have a look at our videos about setting up tarpaulins and you'll see, to get that optimal pitch and get it really clean and flat, what you need to be doing is setting up end to end, get your tension right, then go out middles and then do your corners. So sadly, it's missing 2 little bits in the middle. This might be a very early prototype and the real deal might actually now have those 2 little toggles in the middle. I'm going to get inside. So it's pretty snug down there. I've jammed my kit down there and I've got my rifle off to one side. Is there enough room for me in this thing? Oh. If my kit was off to one side, then the answer is yes. That has been optimally worked out to be just enough to do the job. You can see these pocketed sides, this sort of billowing effect in here. This side pocket then comes into its own because I can actually use the side pocket as well while it's still in this roll. Now I've gone with the Ridgeline, guys. It's actually designed to be used without a Ridgeline. Okay, so I could just go find two trees of a decent distance apart, just taut line both of them. But I've chosen to use a Ridgeline for the purposes of just creating shape and setting up for today's video. It's actually pretty good. Like I said, this is a one-person shelter. You could combine forces with someone else and you could both cram yourselves in here very tightly, maximize your amount of heat. You could create a nice warm floor as well. Use this side as a ground sheet, effectively have yourself a luxury duvet. You can zip the whole thing up and climb inside it, a bit like the whole Ranger roll concept, where you've got like that Gore-Tex or that waterproof outer and an insulated inner. If you go too light, you'll freeze at night. So I think that this would be okay in conjunction with other decent equipment. And again, it's designed to increase the soldier's survivability. So it's a very lightweight, it's a very versatile piece of equipment. The light is dying, so we're going to go and test it in its kind of role that I think it should be used in most. Okay, so let's take a look at how it transitions from being something like a shelter into something I'm going to wear. Today I'm just going to be using my little CZ Silhouette 452. Okay, and as you can see, it's had a little bit of a camo job. Okay, so goes without saying, always make sure you do your 7-point checks and that you're safe and you're unloaded before you go and do anything or go anywhere. I'm just going to go head down the track, go and set up and sit very quietly and see what comes out today. I've got about an hour of daylight left. I'm going to climb inside this now and sit very still. I guess that'll be my head, and this will be the back of my head, which could almost act like a hood. Just have to climb in. I'm going to guess straight away that some of you at home are already really upset with this white writing. Why go to the bother of all this camouflage with this white writing? Okay, we're going to use our tactical Velcro openings. And nothing else in this forest will hear the sound of the Velcro whatsoever. I've shared this on a couple of our videos before. Okay, it's a tactical way of opening up the Velcro. Carefully grasp the end of it. Okay, and on 3, we're going to use the technique. So 1, 2, 3. And there you go. And so you didn't hear any of the Velcro, neither did the animals. Guys, I can tell you, I am absolutely roasting inside this thing. This is worth its weight in gold. Yeah, a few bits, a couple of added toggles and some refinery on the zip thing, none of which is a major design disaster whatsoever, and it would be absolutely fantastic. That's me being super critical. I'm quite impressed with the camouflage. That works quite well. Yeah, so my overall conclusion is this is a very specific, special, niche piece of equipment which isn't on our market yet, but I've shown you today. So these things are going to be coming. These are the future. These are the way that people are thinking now. Obviously, I'm a huge advocate for making your own wherever possible, saving money, recycling. But that said, it was a privilege today to be able to have a closer look at something like this. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe and share button, guys, because it's going to keep me being able to get hold of this kind of stuff and bring it to you at home at the very first look. So there we go. I'm going to sit here for a little bit longer, although I am sweating every pore right now. Thank you again for watching, and we'll catch you again next week for another video on... Well, you'll just have to wait and find out, won't you?